Do you know what, Tom? I'm just really excited because we're in that period of golf now where the season is coming. Obviously, the Masters is on the horizon, 50-something days away or whatever, and we're in the period of elevated golf events. So if you don't know what those are the PGA Tour events that, thanks to Liv, now have much bigger budgets of like 20 million US dollar purses. So it is the Genesis Open this weekend, normally at Riviera, but not because of the LA fires. It's been moved. But like this is this weekend. Last weekend was Waste Management. There was Pebble Beach a couple of weeks ago. I just think we're in that really great period, Tom, at the moment of exciting PGA Tour events.
I think so, and it's worth pointing out that it's the Ryder Cup year. That shapes everything in golf for the whole season. And if you look at who's won so far on the PGA Tour this year, you've got Sepp Straka has won, Rory obviously won Pebble Beach, and then Tom Dutry won it. Dietrich. Yes. I never know whether it's Dietrich or Dutry. Anyway, Thomas Dutry won. Dietrich won. So that's 3 Europeans, and of course Harris English won, and his surname is English. So like,
guys, come on.
Am I reading too much? But seriously, that's 3 out of the last 4 have been Europeans, and let's not peak too early, guys. But I think that's a good sign. Now.
We should mention Harris English as well because of the LA fires. It's not at Riviera now; it's going to be at Torrey Pines, and so that was where the Farmers Insurance was, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and that's the one Harris English won. So it's back on that golf course. So I think you can get Harris English at the moment because I put a couple of quid on him last night for like 50 to 1. Which I don't think is bad betting at all. Bear in mind, he's won on that golf course a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, wow. And he's a great player. You always see his name in the mix. You really do. So going into it then, and you're right, it's building up really nicely now. And, Sawgrass isn't too far away. It's really, and I think that the elevated purses, these elevated events, $25 million, it is obviously, to normal mortals like us, it's just an insane amount of money. But it means that the leaderboards are fantastic. And I love that moment where you put the leaderboard on Thursday, Friday, and you see like Morikawa's in the mix. And Fleetwood's there, and you see these big names. So it does make for a better event, and it is making this sort of, it's not pre-season, the season's up and running now, but it's made these first few events much more interesting leading up to the Masters.
I literally couldn't agree more, and I think we all feel this, there is nothing worse than sticking on a PGA Tour event and looking at the leaderboard and not knowing any golfers on that leaderboard. And there was points during the Waste Management where that was a thing. And that really does, because I love Waste Management. I love that competition. And looking at a leaderboard and not knowing any of the golfers is really disappointing. So as you say, it's great that these elevated events drag all the players out. And obviously, because Rory's like you and hates the Phoenix Open, this will be the first time he's played since being at the Waste Management.
Yeah, so Rory is going to be playing, and that's always going to be interesting. I think there's a sort of, I don't want to be negative about Rory because I love everything about him, right? But there is an element of he does do well early on in the season. That often happens, and he does often do well when they are sort of not as big as a major, if you know what I mean. When the pressure is almost off him, and he can come through the pack, and everyone goes, "Oh, Rory's here," and suddenly he wins. I think when a major comes along and everyone goes Rory from the first minute, and you can't imagine what it's like. And when you watch Full Swing on Netflix, you might get a slight sense of it. But the pressure and the spotlight that goes on your top 5 or 6 players it must affect everything. Everywhere they go, when they're moving around, when they arrive at that event, it's massive. And I think these events that are earlier on in the season, it's more low key and they can express themselves more and just be a bit cleaner in their heads when they play, and they play at their best.
If there's one thing that we've learned from doing this show for the last few years as well, is I think the best thing to look at going into these events is who's played well the week before. It's, okay, I said Harris English earlier because he's got form on the golf course, and that is important. But I do think form in the weeks prior is vital, and you often see players that have played well the week before go on to play well again. I mean, Brandon Robertson-Thompson, a golfer I love on the DP World Tour. BRT, my boy. I love that man. He's having such a great time of it on the DP World Tour at the moment, and he's going back-to-back events playing really well. So it is worth looking at who's played well the week before. So that's why Thomas Dietrich, I think, is, again, you get him at 50 to 1 at the moment. I don't think that's a crazy bet to see him do really well this weekend. I also love, obviously, I'm backing Min Woo Lee.
You are obsessed with Min Woo Lee.
Yeah. He's a great golfer.
He's not going to come on the show, mate. He's not.
Please.
Stop thinking that something's going to happen. He's going to. No, he's brilliant. Minwoo brilliant. I think, there's lots of people who are in the mix at the moment who are looking to have a good season, who need to have a good season. Victor Hovland is one of them. Justin Thomas. Thomas is looking. Yeah, he has something about his rhythm is back. It's really hard to describe, but there's something about he's got a very steep swing, JT, and he just looks like he's back. The other person who had a really good tournament last week was Jordan Spieth, and Jordan Spieth is a real enigma of a golfer the last couple of years. He scottied when he first came out the traps. When he came from college golf, he scottied for a couple of years and just was impossibly brilliant. And everyone was like, "Oh my word, it's the new Tiger." And that's really he's been crazy the last couple of years. You see videos of him shooting over a barn or something because he's just all over the place. So I love Jordan Spieth. I would love to see Spieth back in the mix as well. So Spieth, Justin Thomas, and they would just be fantastic.
Yeah, there was it was the Genesis a couple of years ago where wasn't it JT and Tiger going down on the final day together. They were in the final grouping, and there's loads of great videos from that. I think it's really sad that we're not going to have Tiger, obviously not ready to come and play golf again after losing his mum, which is so sad. Because this is it's his event, right? He's got his name above the doors, so it'd have been great to see him play. Obviously, we understand why he's not going to be teeing it up, but it's just this exciting time for golf, Tom, as the season gets ready. And I think we've also you're looking ahead now. Not that. Yeah, okay, we can say this. Not all PGA events are as good as the others. There is a bit of a gap now between this and the Players, which is in March. So enjoy this great golf while you've got it, because after this, the events, in my opinion, sort of fizzle away a little bit, and then you've got the Players, and then you've got then you're into the majors. So
is this the last elevated event before the Players?
I'm going to say yes. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. Looking through the schedule last night, I couldn't see. None of them jumped out at me, but I didn't check the individual purses.
But this is when, a couple of years ago, they used to have the match play thing. They'd have a match play thing very early on in the season, and it was absolutely brilliant. And they binned it off. It was insane. Okay, fine. So who's going to win then, please, Tom? Who is going to be your champion at the Genesis at Torrey Pines this weekend, please?
Oh, for my bank account, I hope it's Thomas Dietrich or Harris English, because it make me a load of money. I think I'm going to go quite boring and say that you can never rule out Scotty Scheffler. I think he's not had a great start to the season, but he's always there. So
he's there, man.
He's always there, isn't he? So I would say, although quite boring, I'd say that. But I'd love it if Harris English did it, or one of the Brits did it. Would be exciting as well. Who are you backing?
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see a Brit win it. Obviously, I'd love to see Fleetwood win it. Justin Rose was great at Pebble Beach. He was really in there. So if there's going to be a Brit, it would be one of those two for me. I think he's just switched over to Cobra, and I love this guy. I really love this guy. Max Homer is someone to watch. I think he's got a great attitude. He's an incredible golfer. So for me, for no particular reason other than the fact I quite like him, and yes, possibly fancy him a bit, Max Homer. The key question is, who do you think is going to win? So write a comment, and don't write a comment after the event. That's cheating, right? Who do you think is going to win this weekend at the Genesis at Torrey Pines? Write a comment below. If we can see that you've written it before the event, then, there'll be a prize. There won't be, probably haven't got any prizes, but we'll give you a shout out on the show.
Yeah.